Hi and welcome to my presentation for BCM111 on cultural proximity in Asian countries. This presentation will focus on how cultural proximity is defined in the literature and the different factors that cause it to work the way that it does. I will also discuss whether this theory is an accurate determinant of media interests and whether it can exaggerate or underestimate the popularity of non-Western media. In its simplest form, cultural proximity is the intuitively appealing notion that people will gravitate towards media from their own culture. Under this theory, Japanese men and women that have grown up immersed in Japanese culture will be more compelled to consume media that originates in Japan, irrespective of where they live and what cultures they surround themselves with in an adult life. As a result, the majority of their media consumption will be made up of Japanese media, such as anime and J-pop. But how accurate is this theory? Speaking from my own experiences, I consume very few forms of media that do not come from the Western world, and this goes for most people that I know. The last significant piece of foreign media I consumed was Squid Game back in 2021, but even then it was on a Western platform and was dubbed in English. However, this is just the perspective of one Western man. How does cultural proximity affect the rest of the world? The main study done in this area is by Kazajek and Webster. The Spanish participants in their study consumed almost exclusively Spanish language media. The same may be true of those who are a part of Korean culture. A look at the statistics shows that 78% of Koreans prefer Korean music, with very few of them preferring the Western music that we are so used to in Australia. From the statistics to the literature to life experiences and common sense, it is clear that cultural proximity is a very real determinant of media interests. But why is this so? To explain this in the context of Asian media, it is necessary to look at the phenomenon known as the Korean wave. This is the recent global uptake in Korean media, particularly in other Asian countries. The first factor that underlies cultural proximity is obviously the impact of language. As expounded by both Dao Yongjin and Kazajek and Webster, people will be much more likely to consume media that they physically understand. This is the largest factor at play, as the literature has showed that multilingual people consume almost equal amounts of media from each language that they speak. This can partially explain the Korean wave, as Korean language has similarities to Chinese, Japanese, and Thai, allowing these people to better physically understand Korean media. Values that are inherent in media forms such as TV and music allow similar cultures to feel more emotionally attached to what is being portrayed. Take for example the Korean drama My Love from the Star. This show has distinct Confucian themes surrounding honesty, humaneness, and loyalty, which may explain its popularities in countries that practice Confucianism, such as Japan. Lived experiences is perhaps the next most important element underlying cultural proximity. Yamoto's study found that the extreme popularity of Japanese media in Malaysia can be explained by the influence that earlier forms of that media had on these people as children. Nostalgia is a very real element of cultural proximity. Consider Squid Game, which started its meteoric rise in popularity in Asia, particularly because these audience members played the games in the show as children, and as such felt much more attached to the project as a whole. Cultural proximity, being such a powerful theory, may warp perceptions of what people perceive to be a part of popular culture. If you were to ask most of the Western world who the second most followed YouTuber is, most would say Mr. Beast or Justin Bieber, and these people are proximate to our culture. Many would not have even heard of T-Series, BCS, or the Spring Festival Gala in China, yet their popularity in the scope of the world is undeniable. But why is cultural proximity important? When producing media, it is important to understand the language preferences, values, and lived experiences of the target audience. Consider the recent popularity of Korean zombie films such as Train to Busan, Sweet Home, and Kingdom. Their apocalyptic themes have resonated with the entire world following the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. If media producers are aware of these potential attachments in particular parts of the world before the final product is released, they can tailor their content and marketing efforts appropriately. Thank you so much for watching.